Revelation 1570. From the 16th of August 1940. Immediate charisma. Gift of grace. To be allowed to receive the direct radiation of divine power means an unimaginable grace for man. This is a gift that goes far beyond the merit of a human being, because to be honored by God is something delightful that cannot be grasped humanly. He who is the highest and most perfect being, who created heaven and earth, who rules over all that is, bends down to an earth child and shares himself with him. This is a gift of grace, which is indisputably sufficient to form the earth child into a perfect being, because the power of God is imparted to him, and this power from God is able to do everything, therefore it can also completely transform a man who is of good will and promote his higher development. And power out of God is every word, which comes to the earth child through God's exceedingly great love, because what comes from God can be nothing else than his radiation, and so God radiates power, the being given this power gains spiritual substance. It therefore receives something from the hand of God, which contributes to the increase of its beingness. Spiritual from God connects with the spiritual in man, and this appears in such a way that the desire for the pure spiritual is strengthened and can therefore be met by increased supply of spiritual power. Such an influx of power is not particularly recognizable from the outside, but the nature of man, his thinking and feeling, becomes more and more spiritualized, and only then does man fulfill his purpose in life on earth, when all his concern is only for the spiritual higher development. That a man is given such an extraordinary gift of grace is again due to the fact that this man did not seek any earthly advantage from the union which he himself initiated on his own initiative. As far as any calculation of such a connection is the basis, this never and never comes about. But since only the will to God was the motive and the devotion of the own will preceded the connection between heaven and earth, the divine fatherly grace seized his creature in his unspeakable love and drew it to himself. And since God is power in himself, the divine power had to flow over into that earth child from now on and to have an effect on it in the aforementioned way. It can now not but fulfill the will of him, which only now flows over to everything created, which connects itself with him. Man must now, as it were, feel the divine expression of power in himself, in that everything in him presses for union with him, who himself is power. The will of man must turn more and more eagerly towards God, the spiritual in man and the spiritual outside must strive towards each other, because all spiritual is power from God, which again demands to return to him, from whom it has gone out. Therefore the radiation of divine power must cause that man feels its benefit in himself and strives again for the final union with the power giver himself. Amen.